Hey everybody, it's Scotty from Scotty's Record Shop with a another artist profile slash tribute slash I don't know what you'd call it. It'd be probably the death of me. Uh, any ounce of credibility I had in the vinyl community probably is going to be completely washed away after this video. But you can tell I'm so concerned about that. Not that I don't care about you guys' opinions, but the group or artist, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to profile. The main reason that I'm doing it is because 30 years ago, on the 4th of February, the singer of this group passed away at a very young age, 32. And it wasn't drug related, which is kind of uncommon in the music community anyway. Talking about Karen Carpenter, why I'm doing this. I grew up in the 70s, and for the first half of the 70s, listened to a lot of AM radio, and the Carpenters were all over the place, and on AM back then. Anyway, so and I'm actually going to start off. I'll even I don't want to say flip people out anymore, but push it even further by saying the first record that I'm going to show is kind of a, I hate using the word grail. A lot of you guys use that word, but is a kind of a grail. Yeah, weird. But I'll show you and I'll explain to you why. We'll go through what I have for Carpenter's albums. Okay? Okay. First one, like I said, kind of a grail. 1969. The album was called Offering. It would be released a year later under another title, which we'll get to in just a second. But Karen hated this cover. Really big time hated this cover. This album actually was only produced for probably less than a year, and I've seen them go for anywhere between $75 to about $150 on eBay, depending on the shape. This is in good shape, so it would be over 100 probably, value-wise. So 1969, technically their very first album on A&M. The next record, which is the same record, which was reissued a year or so later, entitled Ticket to Ride. It's the same exact album, different cover, different title. That was in 1970. And that was reissued because they started all of a sudden having hits. This was the first hit album for them. 1970 as well, Close to You. These albums were all very, very well produced, well played on. Something that some people don't realize is that Karen Carpenter was an incredible drummer. She had a beautiful voice, but she was an incredible drummer. And Richard Carpenter was an amazing arranger. He could take a song that was ho-hum, kind of, yeah, and just turn it into something really elegant and beautiful, and very commercially successful. The next album was this one, simply entitled The Carpenters. Kind of a cool flip-top cover. Again, we're into these albums now. These are all, some of these I've got for $1. And they're not hard to find at all. The next one, A Song for You, with an interesting back cover. It opens like this and the album comes out that way. 1972 for this one. All right. The next one, 1973, Now and Then, which was an interesting record. One side was all new material. The other side was made to sound like a radio show, and they were playing songs that they grew up with, that they loved. So it kind of was a themed-oriented side, I guess. Kind of interesting record. The next one, wildly successful record, very popular. Sold a lot of copies. The Singles, 1969, 1973. This is not a gatefold. The original pressing was a gatefold, and I've seen it a lot where the record store that's about an hour from my house. And I'm probably actually the next time I get there, I'm just going to pick it up just for the sake of having the gatefold. But this is a little bit of a later pressing, a single. We go to the next record, Horizon, which has another interesting flip top. They had a thing for flipping covers, I guess, or something. But at this point, the albums aren't bad, but they're kind of, I don't want to say going downhill, but they weren't, I don't even want to say quite as good, but you know, I mean, the quality, yeah, you know. But then again, Richard Carpenter had a drug problem, and it was increasing, and Karen Carpenter's anorexia was really starting to get out of control. 1976. A Kind of Hush, with the booklet even, the sleeve anyway. Kind of Hush being a song by Herman's Hermits originally. Yeah, so-so album. Passage, 1977. They do a song on here by a group called Klaatu. Calling Occupants. Klaatu being on Capitol. A really cool band. They only put out a couple of albums, but Richard heard that song and went, wow, I really, really dig that song, and we're going to redo it. Of course, they mellowed it out a little bit, you know, lightened it up even more, if that was possible. But actually had a hit with it, so that's from this album, Passage. Richard Carpenter went to rehab. Unfortunately, Karen couldn't get a hold of her, a handle of her on her issues, but the last album that they did while she was alive was Made in America, 1981, I'm sorry. Of course, she passed away, like I said, 30 years ago on, what was it, on February 4th, 1983. Sad, sad, sad day. Couple of albums that were put out after her passing. One of them. Richard is really kind of, I don't want to say mutilated the catalog, but he's been reissuing stuff, and there's so many greatest hits packages on CD. It's just kind of overkill. One more of post Karen. This is the last one I have for you. A decent double album. Yesterday Once More. Fairly good compilation. Came out in the late 80s, actually. Anyway, that's that. That's my, of all things, Carpenters collection. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Feel free to make any comments that you want. Try to be nice. I know it's not Miles Davis. It's not, you know, but that's okay. Like I always say, you know, it moves me. You know, and if it moves me, it works for me. Whatever works, you know. Alrighty. Until next time, everybody. Peace and love.